Hi everyone, welcome to this audio podcast, sort of synopsis surrounding the surrounding this Storm Robotics production. As part of this Storm Robotics production, this is the Shientist with a sort of audio podcast synopsis surrounding this the this the next the next sort of series. Aligned to Storm Robotics production. This is the Shientist with a sort of an overview, a synopsis around this the Dezrztorm Didactic, and what I'm going to highlight here is a synopsis around works that have been put forward to for presentation for the International Pediatric Transplant Association, the anticipated International Pediatric Transplantation Association, or IPTA, for 2023. And in doing so, also to say it's been a bit of an intermission, a short intermission, following on from the last Storm Robotics production series in and around the Philharmonics involvement series, and it's been in the meanwhile it's been great to hear about the Renal Patient Support Group, the RPSG, and the team having been nominated under the Royal Society of Medicine, RSM, under the nephrology category for the science for the science award. And so at the same time, just letting others know here, letting you know that this series, the Dezrztorm Didactic, will be another collaboration. Hopefully be another collaboration with the Renal Patient Support Group, the RPSG, the RPSG, in aligned to the remit surrounding the International Pediatric Transplantation Association for 2023. And this synopsis, or this overview, I'm going to provide sort of highlight and provide some works that's going to be that have been considered and accepted for research poster presentation at for IPTA 2023. And those are the works that have been or the abstracts that have been accepted for presentation include transplant transplant immunobiology, a chronic kidney disease review, and transplant neuroimmunobiology, the immune system, transplant rejection and neuroendocrinology, a retrospective, and also using the internet, and online methods or online modalities for data collection, and wherein this particular research poster presentation or works will look at sort of a retrospective review on applications, and so these three research poster the abstracts around these works have been reviewed by the IPTA scientific committee, an organization, and basically wherein the works have been accepted to for research presentation, and so the the basis of these works, for example, or the abstracts, sorry, the abstracts around these works can be sort of highlighted or have been highlighted in online on social media through one of the Storm Robotics on one of the Storm Robotics social media pages where you can where those listening in on this audio podcast synopsis can find out about those works, and in the sort of information with this synopsis audio podcast synopsis, there will be some basis around that in the information in the written in the written information as well. So viewers, so those who are checking out this particular audio podcast synopsis can refer to that. So once again, just to highlight that this is the works include Transplant Immunobiology, a chronic kidney disease or CKD review, Transplant Neuroimmunobiology, the immune system, transplant rejection, and Neuroendocrinology, a retrospective, and using the internet and online methods for data collection, retrospective review on applications. So thank you for tuning in, and once again there'll be some more additional information in the written sort of information in the written sort of on the in the written information alongside this audio podcast synopsis. And the Dezrztorm Didactic audio podcast series will follow with three main audio podcasts looking or delving into the research around those particular sort of themes of works around transplantation and immunobiology alongside sort of research methodology in following this audio podcast series, audio podcast synopsis. So thank you for tuning in. This has been the Shientist and a sort of a synopsis around the Dezrztorm Didactic. This is another Storm Robotics production. Thank you.